see if I could create a high-end looking built-in for under $200, starting with a base and a $79 Home Depot kitchen cabinet. This is week 4 of creating a primary bedroom from scratch. I needed to get some creativity into my life after doing all the construction work in week 1 through 3, so I thought this would be the perfect way to do that. I found some chestnut tongue and groove at a salvage yard, and because it was so beat up, I got it really cheap. But I did have to spend some time fixing it up, and it turned out amazing. Then I painted the back wall where all the planks would go a dark color to hide some of those bigger imperfections, like that big hole right there that lost its knot. I wanted to use the offcuts as a detail in this project to add a little bit more character to these pieces. Even though they're flooring, the tongue part of the tongue and groove looked really good as a face frame here. I had some extra pieces, so I created a larger face frame for the bottom, and this is what it's looking like so far. Next up, I'm going to make shelves and a door. What do you think?
Oh my God, where'd my tiles go?
Well, they're under this.
Is that plaster again?
Don't worry, just trust me.
Oh my God, you're gonna plaster everything.
It was ugly tile floor, so now I'm gonna make a nice floor. Just trust me.
What happened to the counter? It used to be pink. When did you plaster that?
The home improvement and DIY industry has exploded in the last few years, so when you say, what is a little plastic gonna do when I throw it out? Well, it actually does a lot. There's over 240 million plastic paint tray liners going into landfills every single year just from the average homeowner. Now think of that 2 or 3 times more with the average DIYer or painting contractor. That's nearly 800 million plastic liners going into landfills every single year. That's not even taking into account the amount of plastic bags, plastic wraps, saran wrap, or any other plastic that might be used for a painting project. The repaint tray can be reused over and over again and can be recycled even after a lifetime of use. I get that the repaint tray might not be for everyone, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, it's not about me, it's about what we're doing to our planet. And it's time to make a change, even if it's a small one.
Welcome to the 7th episode of Stuff We Should Know That No One Ever Teaches Us. Today we're talking about how to fix a really big hole in your drywall. I like to grab these little 12 by 12 panels off of Amazon so I don't have to buy a whole new sheet of drywall. Cut it to size if needed, trace around your hole, then use a jab saw to cut out the damaged drywall. Next, we're going to add some wood backing for support. Any scrap wood you have laying around will do. Attach your panel by screwing it into the wood, and we're ready for our first coat of joint compound and drywall tape. Once all the seams are covered, apply your tape by pressing it down as you go, and you want to kind of feather it out. Lightly sand it when it's dry and go in with your second coat. Using a 10-inch drywall knife for this part will give you a lot more control. Use a product like this for textured walls. For walls like mine, sand until smooth and you're ready for paint. For medium-sized holes, grab a self-adhesive aluminum patch, a putty knife, and a small tub of joint compound. Center the patch over the hole, apply it to the wall, and use the putty knife to apply the first coat of joint compound. Give it a quick sanding before applying a second coat. Let it dry completely, sand again, and repaint. For small holes, all you need is some Drydex and a 2-inch putty knife. Sand down the surface, fill in the holes, and once the Drydex turns white, it's safe to sand and repaint. Follow along to learn more.
I mean, then look at this then. I can't imagine a more beautiful thing.
Watch me make over my client's kitchen. So guys, I'm back with the last job of the year. Oh my God, what a year it's been. Thank you for all the support, the inquiries. I mean, some of you guys live very, very far, but I'm trying my best to try and make this business model work. But this kitchen, I can't even explain it. Like, when I show you what I did in a day and a half, like, sometimes I surprise myself. Anyways, started by taking off the old handles and this kind of green. I was a bit unsure when I looked at it in the pot, but when I did 2 coats, I was like, okay, I like you. It says I didn't need to sand, I didn't need to prime, I don't even need to varnish after, so love that for me. Beautiful shade. There we go. There were so many random little bits in this kitchen that were just like, what is this for, please? So I had to take those off. Applied the gold handles or brass handles that I found online. Love, love, love. Then went to the sink. Obviously worked with my trusty handy woman friend again, or colleague I should call her. Ew, look at that water, disgusting. we dismantled the drain pipe of the sink. Now, as we know, I'm not the best in that department, but we gave it a go, took the sink out, and wasn't too bad. Had to kind of cut the worktop a little bit to make sure the new sink fit in. Bit of a tongue twister there. Then I went on to wrap the worktops. Now, peeling, sticking, wrapping worktops is not something I'm going to offer anymore, because the frustration to make sure there is no bubbles, like, I cannot explain. Maybe because I'm OCD, but I did find, compared to last time, because it was like a marble pattern, you didn't notice as much any kind of mishaps. Not that there were any. But then, went on to lay in the peel and stick floor, vinyl floorboards, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, look at the kitchen. Can we take a moment, please? Can we take a moment? It doesn't even look like the same space, like the gold, the green. I love it, but let me know what you think. Okay, bye.
Day one of turning our house into a home, all DIY and on a budget. Let's rip up these disgusting carpets. The plan was to pay somebody else to do this, but after getting several quotes and none below $3,000 to $5,000 for labor, we're just not in that tax bracket where we can pay somebody else to do something that we can do ourselves. Demo was a bitch, though. There are so many steps to it. We ripped up the carpet and then the padding under, and we had to scrape it up, use this amazing, shop vac, I have no idea, to vacuum up all the extra dirt. It was disgusting. They just laid it over literally dirt. Take up these really pointy things that really hurt. Girl was on her hands and knees scraping. Just disgusted me that we were living on top of this. Then we removed the baseboards. Your girl put in work to cut them up so we can bag them easier. Removing this flooring was actual hell, and anyone who puts it in their house, you're dumb. Respectfully, I had to scrape and pull, but it finally came off, and we got the floors clean, vacuumed. It was like a whole different space. You had to remove the nails from the floor. There were just so many small tedious parts. This took only 4 hours, but this took 4 hours. Pure happiness and joy. The feeling of starting over was so just blessed. Come back for day 2 to see which floors we pick and how we install them.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Home maintenance tip featuring your hot water heater. People tend to be scared of their hot water heaters because they're just a giant bomb, but it's not that scary. What you have is down here, you've got like the boiler. Behind here, you've got a little panel that shows you like the flames lit, which it's not right now because it's full. This is the little control box, and this is like the propane coming in. In my case, it's propane. And then everything above this drain here is basically just a giant water tank. So it's not quite so scary. A couple things you have to do to maintain it are pretty easy. You've got this water overflow valve here, and what that is if the temperature gets too high, if your water pressure inside the tank gets too high, it will come out through this valve, and mine in this case is plumbed, so it just goes out the wall. But you can see here there's usually like a little thread, so you can put a hose on and drain it through there. And it's good every once in a while just to come in and use this little pull valve here and just flush it out. Sometimes sediment will build up, and you don't want sediment in there building up and blocking pressure, so that if it needs to release pressure, it can't, because then bomb. And outside you can see here's been dripping out of that pipe. After that, the next thing you should do is also, it's a flushing thing, is there's usually going to be a drain somewhere near the bottom. You'll see it has like a little fitting for a hose, and that's just essentially the bottom of the tank. Everything, if you get sediment or anything, it's going to settle at the bottom here. It's good to flush that out every year or so as well. So let me go grab a hose. I got my hose connected, and then in this situation, this is just a giant nozzle. I'm gonna go ahead and just open this a little bit. It's gonna turn my hose with it, but that's fine. I don't really like it, but you can start to hear water coming out. You wanna be careful because it's gonna be hot water straight out of your hot water heater. Open it up a decent amount just so you can get water flowing. There we go. And then you only need to run it for a couple seconds just to flush out whatever sediment's at the bottom there, and then you can go ahead and close it back up. Same way, just being careful. Make sure you close it tight, and then you're all done. So that'll have flushed anything that was settled at the bottom of the tank out of the hose, and you should be good for another year or so. Let me know if you have any questions, and follow me for more home maintenance tips.